pageantry than we get here. It certainly is a huge state dinner, but we have seen many bigger ones, and what we aren't going to see, which we sometimes do and we very often do because it's important to the Queen, is reviewing of the troops. It's a large troop review. But basically what's happening with Mr. Trump and First Lady Melania Trump is indoors, and that's because they are afraid of protesters, they're afraid of disruption, and they're afraid of people on the streets. The giant Trump balloon that went flying during the last the visit in Windsor. So I think that is the argument. There's going to be all interior as opposed to an exterior visit, and I think that's very important. We aren't seeing the big, yes, Britain's rolling out the red carpet, but it could be bigger and it could be redder.
And Bianca, let me bring you in. The last time President Trump visited the UK, he was greeted with that huge baby Trump blimp flown over London. The president so far, it seems, has avoided seeing protests.
So he says, and that's because he's been travelling around London mainly by helicopter back and forth from Winfield House, where I am, Jake. Although tomorrow, baby Trump blimp is making another appearance between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. local time. At that point, President Trump will be in meetings with business leaders, and then he'll be going to Downing Street, so it's possible he might not see it. And one of the main reasons behind that protest, and one of the reasons why the Brits that don't want to welcome the president to the UK at this time object to him, is because of his populism, because of his support for causes like Brexit, because of his anti-immigrant rhetoric. And that's interesting, Jake, in terms of what we heard from the Queen and from President Trump just now, where their sentiments bisected. Obviously, they spoke a lot about shared values and history and shared sacrifice, was when, as Max mentioned, the Queen started to discuss the importance of shared institutions like the European Union, and President Trump chose instead to champion the fact that the UK took its own destiny into its own hands and fought for a sense of sovereignty, freedom and self-determination. Now, reading between the lines, that to Brexiteers and those who want to leave the EU will very much hearten them, and those are the people that want to see President Trump come and think that an endorsement of Trump's for a future Prime Minister, perhaps Boris Johnson, who did claim today is the day that he decided to launch his campaign officially, they'll be happy to hear those sentiments from President Trump, and it will really buttress the argument that they've been trying to make.
Very interesting, and we do know, of course, President Trump, a big fan of